One of the topics tackled in Enlightened book is being in the moment and how impactful it really is on our state of being. The concept certainly isn't new. It's been around for ages. No matter spiritual paths like Buddhism or more recent concepts like mindfulness. Being in the moment is something that spiritual path in many different forms expresses and sees as a more enlightened way of life. And I would like to explore why is that. During the channeling sessions I've been a part of, that was something that was definitely expressed more than once, how important it is to actually implement this in your state of being. Before we jump directly into being in the moment and how to work on it, let me share a metaphor. Imagine your mind is a flat, is a house. And in that house, you have a lot of furnitures, things lying around. You don't really know where things are. Basically, it's not very tidy. You have a lot of things which you don't know why you have, and you cannot find much. It's just a mess. If your mind is like such a house, full of unnecessary thoughts, unnecessary patterns, unnecessary constructs and beliefs, then it's not easy to be in the moment. Simply because there's always something lying around that you, whenever you try to be in the moment, you will kick in, you will just walk into it, and hey, it's gonna just bump you back inside your head. Being in the moment is a topic that I can tackle from many points of view, but I would like to jump into interpretations. So interpretations are one of these things in part of that house that are often not helping you to be in the moment and be aligned with your state of being, be open in your state of being, and just connect more with moment, with the experience. So what is an interpretation? Interpretation is a certain belief set, thoughts which cause you to constantly judge the reality, often to judge other people, other events, yourself, make certain evaluations in your mind, what is above, what is better, what is worse, constantly getting frustrated based on the interpretations that they either are a certain way, are not matching certain standards, or maybe you trying to force certain interpretations on other people and objects, sometimes successfully, sometimes not. But it is constantly being in figuring out reality mode, meaning using your mind like a computer analyzer which constantly searches for ways on how to analyze, how to interpret the reality. Mind can be a very useful tool when used when we want to use it, not necessarily when it constantly automatically analyzes things based on ego intentions in us. Enlightened path is path of equality, it is path of acceptance and openness, while ego path is much more connected with constant struggle, resistance, interpretations, and constant evaluation of who is stronger, weaker, what is better, what is worse. So let me give you an example. Maybe you are walking like in some hotel and you see a couple talking about a picture and you think to yourself, they really like that kind of picture. They don't know anything about art. They simply are just, not really well exposed to the realm of art as I am, right? And having these thoughts, you are putting yourself above them, you are lowering their value, and you are of course expressing negativity in your mind towards the situation. Depends what sort of person you are, what sort of beliefs you are. Such a simple construct could work in so many different ways. One person who has a very strong belief set about reality could even be angry at the situation, be like, how can they even try to judge this reality, this art? How dare they, right? They don't know enough to do that. So I'm really angry that people actually dare to do that without proper art education. So that person could even create resistance in their mind towards the event. Other person could potentially be less intense about it, but still negative, and say, really, I'm really surprised that people are trying to judge art when they are not properly educated. It really is something that it's unimaginable to me. This person maybe is not angry at the situation, it's expressing it in their mind more with less intense emotions, but still negative towards the people, towards the freedom and acceptance, equality way of being. Now let's see some ways of how we could potentially tackle this situation while still accepting the fact that we are observing certain situation, but in a positive way. So first of all, we of course assume that the person that is having these thoughts is actually in some way educated in arts. Let's say they have experience in art and so on. So they are more sensitive to such event when it happens to them. So they see the event. People in a very simplistic way in their interpretation, their point of view maybe, seeing the art, and they could say, I could definitely tell them how, in what other ways they could see also this art and probably see different levels and depth to it. But everybody has the right to see the art in their own point of view, and even though I have the capability of seeing the art in so many other levels versus the people that are expressing their emotions towards the art in such a way, but that's okay. It's every perspective matters. It's good that they are into art, because not many people actually would even notice that painting. So you get the direction I'm getting here. You could accept the situation, even find some other positives other than the frustration that potentially could arise in you if you would resist the event, and at the same time appreciate the fact that there is more depth to the whole art realm which that person is a part of. Just so it's clear, it's not a real life example. This is an example I created in my mind, my imagination, but it's based on many different patterns I already seen in either other people, myself, and different types of situations. So how to work on that, right? So let's say you are more in the ego realm of that situation. What can you do to try to tackle the interpretations? Many different things, and I highly recommend you checking my book, Unilight Me Project, which you can find in the description to this video. I believe it is one of the more important books that can help you on your path on how to live happier and more fulfilling life. But one of the ways that you could do is basically slow down. So if you find yourself that the thought, the interpretation comes to your mind very automatically, it is a good practice to slow down. And I mean physically and also with your thoughts. So try to, for a second, speak, move, and think a bit slower to retain the control that you have over your own choice. Once you retain the control, it's gonna be easier for you to try to direct the thinking to a different point of view, which could be more positive. Depends on how emotionally you are attached to the negative interpretation. You can either do quick jump towards positivity. However, if it's more neutral situation for you, if the interpretation is not very, let's say, patterned in you, it's not very negative in you, it's not creating heavy emotions in you. But if the emotions are heavy, often the best you can do is just to accept the situation, accept that you are feeling what you are feeling, and that is a cause of the previously created choices and patterns that are currently in you, and slowly release them from you. So by just noticing the pattern arising and not giving into it, but rather observe it, see the emotion, but do not feed it with action, with further thoughts, just observe it and let it slowly burn out. That is my advice for you. There are different techniques how you can approach that, which I would gladly share in different videos also. And if we ever meet live in any of the events that I will be hosting in the future, hopefully, definitely there will be opportunities to also share more examples with you guys. Thank you for listening. Wish you a really great day. Wish you enlightened days and really positive and happy states of being. Thank you and goodbye.